श्री वृंदावन धाम की, श्री नवदीप मायापुर धाम की, श्री जगन्नाथ नीलाचल धाम की, श्री अयोध्यापुरी द्वारकापुरी धाम की, लॉर्ड शिव श्री कृष्ण बलराम की, श्री राधा श्याम सुंदर ललिता विशाखा की, श्री गौर निताई की, गंगा जमुना माई की, श्रीमती तुलसी महारानी की, भक्ति देवी की, हरिनाम संकीर्तन की, ट्रांसीडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन प्रबंधन की, संवेद भक्त वृंद की, गौर प्रेमानंदे और ग्लोरीज टू द सिमरनी बुकिंग और ग्लोरीज टू द सिमरनी बुकिंग और ग्लोरीज टू द सिमरनी बुकिंग द्वादशी महामहोत्सव की संवेद भक्त वृंद की। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय।
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 नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नमस्कृताय भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। ग्रंथराज Bhagavad-Gita as it is की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So today's verse is text number 12 and chapter number 8, 12, attaining the Supreme. How we can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the different methods have been given here. So you can repeat after me. And so before this they were talking, just text number 11, that persons who are learned in Vedas who utter Omkar. So they talk about Brahman realization or impersonal realization of the God, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who are great sages in the renounced order enter into Brahman. So desiring such perfection, one practices celibacy. I shall now describe, explain to you this process by which one may attain salvation. So the process is given by an impersonal method, how one can attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So how one can attain the Supreme, that is being given in this next two verses, and then the personal method has been given in the next, like 14th verse. So let us read and you could repeat after me. सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्न्या आधायात्मनः प्राणाम् आस्थितो योगधारणम्। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्न्या आधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणम्। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्थितो योगधारणम्। सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोहृदि निरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्तिको योगधारणम् सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोरथिनिरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधाय आस्तिको योगधारणम् सर्वद्वाराणि संयम्य मनोरथिनिरुध्य च मूर्ध्याधायात्मनः प्राणम् आस्तिको योगधारणम् सर्वद्वाराणि all the doors of the body संयम्य controlling manah the mind rati in the heart nirodhya confining cha also murdhani on the head adhaya fixing atmanah of the soul pranam the life air asthitah situated in yoga dharana the yogic situation. Translation and purport is given by Srila Prabhupada. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life air at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. Purport. To practice yoga, as suggested here, one first has to close the doors of all sense enjoyment. This practice is called pratyaha, or withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. The sense organs for acquiring knowledge, the eyes, ears, nose, tongue and touch, should be fully controlled and should not be allowed to engage in self-gratification. In this way, the mind focuses on the super soul in the heart and the life force is raised to the top of the head. In the 6th chapter, this process is described in detail. But as mentioned before, this practice is not practical in this age. The best process is Krishna consciousness. If one is always able to fix his mind on Krishna in devotional service, it is very easy for him to remain in an undisturbed transcendental trance or in samadhi. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kalamayam Dadati Swakaram Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Guravaram Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sadhavatam Nathamitam Kamsajivam Sapaitam Savrutam Parijanasaitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishnatam Sahaganalita Sri Vishakam He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusuti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaurashe Namah Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Krapa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Bhavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So translation again, and you could repeat after me. The yogic situation is that of detachment from all sensual engagements, closing all the doors of the senses and fixing the mind on the heart and the life hair at the top of the head, one establishes himself in yoga. So here the yoga, what has been described, there are many different kinds of yoga. Yoga means linking with the Lord, but in different way one can link. The same thing linking could be done in various ways, like karma yoga, jnana yoga, dhyana yoga, ashtanga yoga, hatha yoga, and bhakti yoga. So there are various processes, there are various yoga systems that one can apply to link with the Lord. But one path may be easy, one path may be difficult, one path may need the assistance of other paths, like bhakti yoga is essential for all other yogas. Without bhakti, one cannot get the desired result of the yoga practice. And it's not that all yoga or all practices lead to the same place. The aim of different yoga is different. It's not the same yoga. Like bhakti yoga is to really loving devotional service to the Lord. Karma yogis, they want to, like karma yoga, the difference between karma yoga and say bhakti yoga, there is an essential difference. Karma yogi is attached to the particular work, although the result is ultimately the same, but they want to do that particular work. A devotee completely surrenders to the Lord and is ready to act in any way, whatever is needed or whatever is asked for by the superior authority, whether it is his guru or senior authority. So he does perform without being attached to particular work. And so that is the difference in karma yoga and bhakti yoga. The aim of both the yoga, because sometimes karma yoga and bhakti yoga is translated as almost like equal. Karma is different, karma kanda is different. Karma kanda's aim is to enjoy the fruits of the results of the karma. Means whatever they are acting, they want to enjoy the senses to a higher level. Like people in the world, they may like to go to, say, Indra Loka, Swarga Loka. The Jnana yogis, they want to merge with the nirvishesha form of the Lord. The Dhyana yogi, they meditate and want to meditate on the Paramatma, and ultimately goal is to just again merge. And Bhakti yoga wants to render devotional service. Hatha yoga, hatha means they just unnecessarily give trouble to the body. Like they sit in a secluded place or lie on the thorns or lie upside down or stand on one leg for a long period. And the result of all of this is to really control the mind. Because mind is very close to the heart, where the Paramatma is situated. If you control the mind, means by forcibly, not controlling lovingly or nicely or giving some hard test, but the method that has been described here is forcefully controlling the mind. Means you control all the senses, wherever the senses are going, you bring them back, control the mind wherever it is going, fix it, move your heart. Like there are different chakras, different like 9 dwaras. So they say that bring the mind near the heart, in the heart level, and bring your like prana vayu, like there are prana, apan, saman, dhyan, nidan. There are different airs coming in, airs going out. So it has to be fixed between the eyebrows. Murdhya, adhat, yamana. So sarva dwarani means a close sanyam. You close down or control all the dwaras. There are 9 gates that all know, 9 gates on the body. Like Purandar, you have heard that, the 9 gates of the whole city, and then there are 9 gates. So what are those 9 gates? Means we have the mouth, the nose, the 2 eyes, the ears, pan, means Buddha are the anus and genitals. So these are the different gates of the body. And another gate that they are talking about here, Mano Hadi Nirdhaja, you put the mind near in the heart, and Murdhya, Adhyatmana Pranam. Prana means these are the different kinds of hairs. Prana is life hair. So life hair you fix between the eyebrows. Or also that is called Brahmarandra. If a child is born, you see a soft spot. Different bones, they develop in a very soft spot. That is called Brahmarandra. And it's a very sensitive, and you fix it. You move all your prana is in different places, different area, and by controlling that particular air, that you could bring it, raise it up, and then they leave their body from that prana or murdhya or between the eyebrows or that soft spot that you see. And then it gets closed after the child is born, maybe after a few months, 5-6 months. You must have seen, everybody must have seen a soft spot, and it's that is called murdhya, or also dasam dwar. Dasama Dwar, 9 Dwar that we described, 2 eyes and 2 ears and nose and mouth and genitals and anus, and so those are the 9 gates, and then another mind. So this is what is will be fixing the mind on the heart and the life here at the top of the head. One establishes himself in yoga. So one can move that here, and then they live, then they could control when to give up the body. So what has been described, if in such a position, although Arjuna was saying that this kind of practice is very difficult to attain, even 5,000 years ago, we are talking about Dwapar Yuga, now everybody is detached, but then the next verse also comes in that doing this, and then you chant Omkar. Om Itya. I would not go more in the detail of that particular verse, but the next verse, if you see, that after being situated in this practice, means the practice that we just saw, how to sit, where the mind has to go, how to control the senses, and putting the mind on the heart, and putting the pran, vayu, pran, and to the murdhya, and that between the eyebrows of this Brahma Randra. Randra means the whole. Brahma means this Brahma Randra, where the life air. And in another chapter, like, so what it has been said that after doing that, you situate in this, then you vibrate the sacred syllabus Om, the supreme combination of letters A-U-M. Om, it's a syllabus. This Om is a very Pranav mantra. It is called Pranav also, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu talks about this Pranav mantra. Pranav ye Mahavakya Ishwarer Murti. This is the sound incarnation. Means all this Vedas, as they come, originally it is Omkar. Omkar, it is impersonal form of the Lord, that Om word which you vibrate. That is also like a Mahamantra also. But Om is an impersonal way. Ram and Krishna, when we say Hare Ram, Hare Krishna and Ram, that is a personal form of the Lord. But that is also Ishwarera Murti. Pranav Aite Sarva Veda Jagat Utpatti. That all the Vedas have been born from this. In the flute sound from the Lord Krishna's flute, that is Omkar, that is Om. And through this Om, then all the different manifestations, they happen, like not only the Vedas and Upanishads, but also different incarnations, they come from this Om Vakya. So Jagat Utpatti, even the world is born from this Pranav Se Mahavakya Vedir Nidan. So these are the ultimate word of the Vedas is Pranav. Ishwar Swarup Pranav Sarva Vishwadham. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is telling this is from Chaitanya Charitamrita that it has been given. So one practices and speak when sits in that position, bring the pranavayu here, bring the mind, bring all the senses under control. Under control means establishes in its original position. Mind should be near the heart, where means it should be really on Paramatma, should meditate or think of the Supreme Lord. That is the place for the mind. But rather than that, we take it externally and go to so many places. The senses are also controlled. Control does not mean that you don't use it at all, but control means they are situated in its own proper position. You use the senses like you say Ambarish Maharaj. He was using his legs in going to the temple, hands in cleaning the temple. He will see the beautiful form of the Lord. This is like when you go to the temple and you see the Lord, then it's not that you are seeing the Lord, but Lord is seeing you. When Lord went, say after Kaliya Daha, and then all the Gopas and Gopis, and they died, right, by drinking that water. Cows and calves, they all died in the fall. But the Lord put his glances on all these cows and the Gopas, and then they all became alive. So Lord's seeing is very, very potent. It's like Amrit Drashti. Amrit Drashti means the nectar is flowing from his eyes, and they wake up as if they were never died, but they were all dead. Not just unconscious, but they were all dead by drinking that. Because that poison from this Kali and Nag was so great that it was from long time, not only even in the bird, if they fly a mile away, then he will also fall from the vapors of this poison that was there. But Lord's glance, so when we go and see the Lord, then naturally he is seeing us. So not that only we go and see the Lord, but really we go to see that Lord, that we come into his vision. That Lord sees us. Means our heart should be so pure and should not be diverted here and there. But he does see and bestows his blessings on us, and that's nice that we come in the vision of the Lord and he sees us. So every day we go in the morning, when the Giti dresses in the evening. So we should see the Lord in that way. So what is being said, that after situated in that, and we speak this the sacred syllabus Om, and vibrating the sacred syllabus Om, the supreme combination of the letters, if one thinks of not only uttering those words Om, but also one thinks of the supreme personality of Godhead and quits his body. So this is at the time of death how he should. So fixing all these things, uttering the word Om, and then also remembering, that is what, if one thinks of the supreme personality of Godhead and quits his body, he will certainly reach the spiritual planets. So he will go to the spiritual planet. So that is the impersonal way of attaining the supreme. That is the name of the topic. This 8th chapter is attaining the supreme, and how one can attain the supreme is to put yourself into that position. And Arjuna is saying in the previous chapter, like in 6th chapter, not previous, the 6th chapter, he said that this system of yoga which has been described as Dhyan Yoga, that is the 6th chapter, is Arjuna Vacha. What Arjuna is saying, O Madhusudan, the system of yoga which you have summarized appears impractical and unendurable to me. For the mind is restless and unsteady. The mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate and very strong. Chanchalahi mana Krishna, Pramati Balabhadranam, Tarshaham Nigram Manne. Nigram means to control. Vayureva Suduskaram. It is more difficult than controlling the wind. One can control the wind but cannot control the mind. So how to do it? And then Krishna replies that yes, what you are saying is right, but by practice, vairagya, that restless mind, so it is possible by suitable practice and detachment. That is, it is possible by vairagya, by abhyasena means a practice, and vairagya. Vairagya means to detach. Detachment, it is possible to control the mind. And then it is been taught how one can do that. But so now about Dwara, and this is the system that has been said, that controlling the mind, this practice is called, one has to close all the doors of the sense enjoyment and practice pranayama. So pranayama, pratyaha. So what is this pratyaha? Let us describe that. So there are 8 kinds of yam, niyam, asana, then pranayama, dhyan, dharana and samadhi. So there are 8 ways. So yam means it is like rules and regulation. What is the difference between? So yam means what you should do, means chanting 16 rounds for us, for devotees. So that is yam. And niyam means what that you have to abstain from. Niyam means restriction. You don't do this. So no meditating, no gambling, no intoxication, no illicit sex. So that is niyam. Yam niyam. Then yam niyam asana. You sitting, that we talked about how you should sit. In 6th chapter, it is all been described in the Dhyan. You should go in a secluded place, sit on a not very high, not very low, on a deer skin or on pusha grass. You sit and then you put your mind such and such, either on some flame or some dot or some form or like personality of Godhead, Paramatma, to meditate on that. So people, they do are put on at some point, and this thing is really not very easy, because in this age, mind has been bombarded from so many stimulus from all over, and it is not practical to engage in the Dhyan Yoga. Dhyan Yoga or meditation that was possible in Satya Yoga. And Treta Yuga, what was the practice? See, there are Yuga dharmas. Various Yuga, people have different mentality and they could practice different things. So for Satya Yoga, this Dhyan was possible, that is meditation. For Treta Yuga, it was the elaborate Yagyas. For Dwapar, it is elaborate temple worship. And then for this Kali Yuga, what is Kali Yuga? Is chanting the holy name of the Lord. So that is the process that has been recommended by the Shastra. And if we take some system which is done in some another Yuga, we cannot be successful. And so Krishna knows what is suitable for our mentality of this age, and we have to take that Yuga Dharma. That Yuga Dharma means for the particular age there is a particular Dharma, and if we take that, it would become very easy. So Arjuna is telling that, so how to come, so Yam, so I was talking about Yam Niyam, Yam Niyam Asana, then there is Yam Niyam Asana Dhyan, Yam Niyam Asana Pranayam. Pranayam means again the air. This is the, so different airs like pranayam, this matter how to raise the prana to the murdna. Murdna means between this Brahmarandha, or 10th hole or 10th space, how to raise that. So that is then pranayam, then there is pratyaha. Pratyaha again that is the fixing the mind near the heart, means don't let it go. So bringing the mind back again and again to the personality, to the in the heart there is Paramatma, that is the place. So that is called pratyahara. Then there is dhyan, dharana and samadhi. Dhyan means meditation, dharana, and then there is samadhi, means ultimate total absorption of the mind on the supreme personality of God, and that is called samadhi. So you meditate on the either in samadhi, this is yoga practice. So these are the 8 kinds of yoga practice. This is the 8 kinds of yoga practice. So one of these practice is this pratyahara. Pratyahara means pratyahara, withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. So we could discuss about this, about pratyahara, what exactly this is. So pratyahara means what is being here, withdrawing the senses from the sense objects. So what are the different sense objects? Sense objects is and what are the senses? So let us so sound, touch, form, taste and smell. These are the 5 kinds of these are the that you want sound. Sound means the shabda, sparsha, roop, ras and gandha. That is shrot. Shrot means the like the ears. Skin, that is for touching. Tvacha. Netra, that is the eyes, that sees the form or roop. Rasna, the tongue, that wants to taste the ras. Test, that is the testing object, testing sense. And the nose, that is nasika, that is for gandha, smell. So these are called Gyanendriya. Gyanendriya, and then there are 5 Gyanendriya. So one enjoys only through this 5 Gyanendriya. All enjoyment in the material world can be classified out of these 5 senses. 5 Gyanendriya, that one enjoys the whole material world, whole anything that you see, whether by drinking the water, that is taste is there, and the taste of the water, or somebody wants to see a beautiful form, or the touch sense, and sound that one wants to listen, and everything is developed based on just these 5 organs of the jnana, knowledge acquiring senses. It is called Gyanendriya. And working senses, that is the speaking. Working senses means that is the vani that you speak, that is again from the tongue. Then hand is to receive some objects or to feel some objects, take some objects. Then the legs, that is gaman karna, to go, walk, that is charan or the legs. Upastha means that is mutra tyag, passing the urination, and then buddha, that is mal tyag, that is called buddha or the anus, and that is all these are 5 are called karmendriya. So Gyanendriya and karmendriya. So one must control in pratyahara manohadi niruddhacha. So you control these senses from the sense objects. Now how it is possible really to control, not to let it go, and there is no higher test in this. So it's always like it has been given that this practice is very, very difficult. People they forcibly they try to do it, like would not eat for a long time or remain hungry for a long, long time. Like somewhat Dhruv Maharaj also, but he was chanting the names Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. But also he was controlling all the mind and senses and not eating, and for so many months, for a few days, like he would not, initially he was drinking some water, then he gave up, then just breathing. Like daily, but then he changed it to once a week, once in 3 weeks. So like that, he was also controlling the senses by this kind of yoga practice. But he was in Satya Yuga. Dhruva, we are talking about the Satya Yuga, which was possible at that time. But for us, that Dhruva achieved by this process, but he was also taking the support of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Om Namo Bhagavate. That was given by his Guru Maharaj, Narad Muni. Rather than Om, this practice is talking about that you utter the syllabus Om, and at the same time you think of the Lord. But here, so Dhruv Maharaj also did that, and it is possible. So rather than letting it go to the objects of the senses, you control them, and then you put your mind in the place of the heart, which is its proper place. And Murdhya Adhaya means you put your pran, Murdhya Adhyatmana Pranam. You bring your pran, air, into the Murdhna, into the Dasam-dwar. That is also called Brahma Randra. Brahma Randra means that's, if you, like in Bhagavad-Gita there is a picture that yogi is sitting, and then from his life force is going out from the head. many people they pass, when they go out, they are not devotees, like when the sun is in Uttarayan or Dakshinayan. Uttarayan, sun, you see that picture? Where they're like the yogi sitting with matted hairs, and that is just almost dried up, as if he is not eaten for years together. That picture was there in one of the books. This. Yeah, okay, in old edition. Yeah, he's showing that. See here, see that picture? That's the yogi sitting, and his life hair is going out on the Brahmarandha, from the top of the 10th hole on the body. So it is going, but this process is not only difficult, it is impractical, and so these chakras and all these are just based on that part. What I was trying to tell you, that people who die on particular, like when the Uttarayan means when the sun is in the northern side, like the summertime, or in the daytime, or when they are in a nice, like they have a nice holiday, or just like today is Mahadvadashi, so like on Mahadvadashi, or when the sun, like moon is vexing, not waning moon, when the vexing moon, if one dies in the daytime, in such and such month, then they go to the higher planetary system. If they die at night time, midnight, then passing through their like stool or urine or vomiting, or in such situation, one can understand that this person is going to hellish planets. Just by the time of death, you will see some people are smiling, laughing, they are not in any distress, they could think of the Lord. If one dies at when sun is on the northern side, not southern side, for us, though then Mediterranean, then that is a different time period. But for us, if they die in such a way when the sun is vexing, not waning, moon is vexing, not waning, and particularly daytime are thinking of the Lord and between the devotees. So there are different ways how one can recognize that whether this person is going higher or lower by seeing his death, how he dies. And just the next verse talks about it. This is impersonal way. Next verse talks about Ananya. That would be again discussed. I am just giving a little brief. Ananya cheta satatam yo mam isprati nityasya tashyam sulabha partha nitya yuktasya yogina. Satatam means satat. There are two words, satatam and nityasya. Satat means a continuous. Continuous means one you wake up to the bed, that is continuous. When you night, that is different. But nityasya means when we start remembering Krishna and until that means day and night. So there are two words that I just wanted to explain, Satatam and Nityasya. Satatam means from waking up to the end of when you sleep, but Nitya means all the time, eternally. Nitya and eternal means continuously when you start, like you came to Krishna consciously, then from that moment until you die, you do remember Krishna all the time. That is called Nityasya. Nityasya. So similar kind of verse is there, Maya Sakta Manopatha, in this that talks about Krishna is talking about in 7.1 that Maya Sakta Manopatha Yogam Yunjan Madhyasana. So these are just continuation from the same, but what he wanted, and then he describes all this method of yoga. Asamshayam samagrama yatha gyashyasi tat shunu. What is describing the personality of Godhead said, now hear O son of God, by practicing yoga and full consciousness of me, with mind attached to me, you can know me in full, free from doubt. Samagrasa means know every activity, like how Krishna, the personality of Godhead, how does he act, how the whole world is created, and how he maintains that, how it is dissolved. So if you get yoga and full consciousness of me. So this is talking about the bhakti yoga that we are beginning. Asakti, Maya Sakta. Asakti means if we are attached. Attachment means we have love. Then only we could be attached. Means loving relationship with the Lord. Love means engaging in devotional service. Service and love is not different. If you serve unconditionally, then that is love. Unconditionally means to that extent that gopis would not see like that Krishna has certain, like that he is the supreme personality of Godhead. Just love for the person, love for without any anything in return, but not only in return, but not, oh, he's a big man, maybe sometime I will get something. If the personality of Godhead is very rich, is very beautiful, then means you are not loving Krishna, but you are loving his opulences. Loving his form, loving his beauty, then loving his opulence, like so much wealth, so much strength, you are afraid of somebody, so he will protect me. So those things are means, but Yashoda Mai are, whenever they would not think of that he is the Lord, he is the Supreme Personality, they love just because he is a loving child, that he is, so they love just because Krishna and I just want to love without any qualities attached to the personality of Godhead, like not thinking that he is very opulent, that is Aishwarya Gyan. So Aishwarya Gyan is something different, but not knowing the Aishwarya, without even knowing it, although it is there in their heart, and but they have come to that Madhurya or sweetness of the Lord is always on top of that. So sweetness and this, there are three things. Let me just about this, that how. So one is Karma Yogis. Karma Yogi, they have eternal relationship with the Lord. They serve the Lord. So they leave behind all their attachment for the worldly things. So mostly the Karma Yogis, because they are attached to certain activity, they are in Shantaras. Then Jnana Yogi, they know Tattva Bodh. Tattva means the mysticism about Krishna. Tattva means the essential truth about Krishna. So they know the Krishna Bodh and they get, so Shantaras is the Karma Yogis, the Jnana Yogis, that is Tatvik Sambandh. What is our relationship? Who am I? What is the Lord? So all this, that is comes in Bhakti Yoga also, but they go by mental speculation. That is, they get under continuous rasa or enjoyment, rasa. And then Bhakti means Atmiya Sambandh. Atmiya means he is mine, I am his. That kind of incident happens by the loving relationship. Atmiya Sambandha, like that is. So there is no difference. They think that yes, I think that he is mine, I am his, he is my friend, or whatever relationship you develop, Dasyaras, Asakyaras, or Vatsalyaras, or Madhuryaras. But there is a relationship in the devotional service, and they obtain the Anantaras, unending enjoyment, unending ecstasy, unending. So that happens in the devotional service. So there are three kinds of rasas I count. Shantaras, Akhandaras means which does not break, that is for the Jnana Yogi, and Anantaras means unending ras, unending mellow, that is obtained by devotional service. See, like we talk about this process that we have talked about, this impersonal process of dhyan and dharana and all these things that we have discussed. But Krishna says that more this, that Tashyam Sulabha. Krishna made him very easy to obtain him. It's not very difficult to develop our loving relationship with Krishna. But that comes by developing our relationship with his person, his dear person. Means like Srila Prabhupada are very pure devotee of the Lord. So our pure devotee, he always says, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabha, such kind of devotee who is completely engaged in devotional service, that kind of personality is very rare. It's to find personality of God is everywhere. It is very easy to develop our relationship with him. He says, I am taste of the water you drink. In so many ways, Krishna is describing that among the mountains I am Himalaya, among the energy I am such and such, I am Vajra, Indra, Eravat, Elephanta. He talks of in so many ways. So to see or know or understand, but about a pure devotee to find, it is very, very difficult. So even in Bhagavad-Gita, Sa Mahatma Sudurlabh, it is very difficult. Hari Durlabh nahi jagat mein, Harijan Durlabh. Hari Durlabh nahi, Hari means the personality of God, and it is not difficult to find in the world, but Harijana Durlabh, but it is very difficult to obtain a pure devotee of the Lord. That is called Harijan, the person who is very dear to the Hari. Hari area सब जग मिले, if we Harijan कहीं एक हो, it's very rare to find. Hari से तू जानी है तो कर Harijan से है. If you want to develop your loving relation with the Lord, then you do loving relation with the person who is very dear to the Supreme Lord. Hari नीचे जगह देते हैं Harijan. So if the personality of Godhead is very happy, he may give the world many opulences, but if you please him, then he gives you the Hari. He gives you the personality of Godhead, Harijan, if you please the person who is very dear to Krishna, then he will give you Hari himself. Like in Chaitanya Charitamrita also are that Krishna se tomara, Krishna dite par, tomara bhakatiya, sakatiya ache. Means you have that energy, Krishna is yours and you could take and give it to him anybody. If Krishna is like, this book is mine, I can give it to you. Same thing, that Krishna belongs to the pure devotee and he could give you at any time. So one must please the pure devotee of the Lord, and by his pleasure Krishna is sold. Like Krishna is just given. So like one time even like Krishna was given by Rukminiji, because so, and then he became, I think Narad Muni came, and I don't know the whole story, but he was given like this. So all this thing is writing about Sharanagati. Either this way that you meditate and then you surrender to the Lord, or Sharanagati like Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Sharanagaja, also that is also Sharanagati. In Bhagavad-Gita there are many places that about Sharanagati has been said, means surrendering to the Lord. Tameva Sharanam Gacchen, 1862 words. Sarva Bhavena Bhaktameva Sharanam Gacchen, Tat Prasadat Param Shanti Sthanam Praptisi Sas. Then you will obtain the eternal peace and your real place, our real place is in the spiritual kingdom in loving relationship with Krishna. So there are different places that you become devotee, you become Sharanagati, or you take shelter of the Supreme Lord. So I will tell you some stories how one surrenders. And how Krishna helps with this person. One person, he was a blind man, Pragya Chakshu. We don't call him that you are blind, but your knowledge, Pragya Chakshu, or what is that called, Surdas, or what is that another name. Like there are many, Velumangal Thakur also, right? So one person like this, a blind man, he fell in the river from there. He used to walk with this stick. So somehow he surrendered to the river. So somehow he flew on the side, not fighting with that, and he did not know which side is the middle or which side is the edge of the river. So he did not know. Then by the flow of the river he came out. But he completely thought of Krishna, that Lord, I am surrendering to you, and please. Then Lord protected him. He came out of that and he found a stick nearby and he started walking back again. So same way, like there was Hanumanji, Sitaji and Lord Ram. They were sitting under a beautiful tree in the forest, and the tree had a creeper, and the tree looked very beautiful because of the creeper, nice smell, nice flowers and all this. Then Sita they see that how the tree is supporting. Then Lord Ram said that it is not the tree supporting, but it is the creeper that is going, that is causing a very beautiful atmosphere. Then Hanuman said, so because it has taken the shelter, that's without taking the shelter, that creeper cannot grow. So creeper has taken the shelter of the tree. Same thing, that if we take shelter of the personality of Godhead, then we could also be beautiful. That is a kind of Sharanagati. Now this ordinary story, there was a goat, a small goat. What do you call it, a small goat? A baby goat?
Kid.
Huh?
Kid.
Oh, kid. Okay, kid. A kid as a small child is kid. But anyway, is baby goat that night and everybody has gone. It was fell night. So he saw in the mud the footprints of a lion. So he took shelter of the footprints and he stayed there. And some another elements, ferocious animals came. Then he said that you see whose footprints I am taking the shelter. So he was taking then they see that these footprints belong to a lion. So all the other another animals, they just flew away. Then later on the lion came and he says, how come that you are sitting here in my place? He said that I have taken shelter of the footprints. And lion said, this is my footprints, he has taken my shelter. So let me protect him. He did not eat, but he called the elephant that put him on your back and then let him. So the lion, otherwise I will eat you away, I will kill you. So the elephant put him through his trunk on his back, and then he was eating the soft leaves of the trees around. So every day he was just sitting, every day that was his practice. He just go so because he has taken the shelter of the footprints only, and he has been protected in the world by all the animals, including the same lion whose print was there. So if it happens in the material world, why not it could happen in the spiritual world? If we take shelter of the personality of Godhead, then naturally we will be protected. Means protection means we would not degrade and would go back home in full spiritual realization by just taking the shelter. So it is important. And Krishna does not see any qualities, whether somebody has, whether it's asundar, sundar sheprava, asundar, sundar, gunar, vihino, gunikam, means whether you are qualified or unqualified, have any qualities, material qualities, doesn't matter. Whether you are envious or you are not envious, or karunam buddhiva, shyam sakhai gatir mamavyam. If you just say, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, aslishva padardam pinustuma, adarshana marmatam paratva yatha tatava vedadatu lapato mata prananathas. Means it's not, it depends on any qualities that I have this quality, even if somebody is a devotee, whatever qualification, if he really surrenders to the Lord, then Shipram Bhavati Dharma. Shashwat Shanti Nigachati Kaunte Pratijani Name Bhakta Pranashti. Bhakta means you surrendered to the Lord. So if you surrender, then automatically all the good qualities will come. Not that he has no qualities. Initially he may not have, but surrendering, that's so like Saptarshi, they are telling Parvati. Parvati, they were telling that Lord Shiva is so much ugly, he lives in Samasyan, like in the cremation ground, and he has the snakes on his body, and he has no place to stay, and why do you marry him? Why don't you go and marry? So they try to see how much that she loves Lord Shiva. So they were trying to deviate him, but her mind was always fixed. Mahadeva Aguna Bhavana, Mahadeva is all points are disqualified. Vishnu Sakala Guna Dham. Jai Kara Manu Rama Jai Sana Tahi Tehi Sanakam. This is anyway that, but her mind was fixed. Same thing like when gopis were, they were remembering all the time, thinking of Krishna, serving Krishna, but Uddhav came, he was Jnana Yogi in the beginning, like his words is about Jnana Yoga. So he was saying that Brahma and Paramatma and why you are just, so you should just put your mind on the Brahman, the all pervading personality of Godhead. And he said that we don't know who is that Brahma and who is that. We know Krishna who is just playing with us, who is sitting in the lap of Mother Yashoda, whom we play every day, and he dance on our little buttermilk. We like that boy. We don't want your Brahma. You go away from here. We don't care. So when he saw that such devotion and attachment of the Lord, that is so much surrender to the Lord, so much remain, then naturally Uddhav also changed. Lord Krishna wanted to send him from Mathura to Vrindavan to really become a devotee and not remain Jnani. He was very much Jnani. Same thing like Sanak Sanatana and Sukdev Muni, when they saw that how just the glorification of Krishna, when he saw that how Krishna is very sweet and loving, then he also changed from becoming a Jnani to a pure devotee of the Lord. Yashoda Mai, like say, Yashoda Mai is telling Dauji that this my son Kanhaiya is very, very simple hearted, very simple. Please protect him. And but Gopis that she wants him, and so he likes this kind of relation. That he is protected, he is cared for, is loved, is like he is fed properly. So not that you just glorify him. So glorification is just to understand Krishna, just to become attached to Krishna. But once one is attached to Krishna, then they just love him just for cause of loving, not because he has some big qualities. And we also should not think that whether I have qualities so I could develop loving relationship. It does not require any particular qualities except it requires surrendering. That's why Krishna is saying Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam, that you give up all religion, all your duties and religiosity and process, but just surrender. Sarvadharma Mamekam Aham Tvam, then I will give, because Arjuna was worried about that if I give up my religious duties, my duty of, then I will like to protect this, then naturally I will be killing my kinsmen, I will be killing my grandfather, Bhishma Pitama, my teacher, then there will be sinful reaction. He says, do not be worried about any of those. You just surrender to me and everything will be taken care of. So key for the Krishna is key to the develop relationship with the gopis. So our mind should be Baso Nirantara Tasu Manaso Ravragajade. So anyway, now how about the mind? Bhagavad-Gita talks about many verses. We will discuss about those verses, few of the verses. So they see like Bhayda Param, na Paramestyam, na Mahendra Nistyam. In surrendering that Paramestyam, na Mahendra Dishnam, na Sarvabhaumam, it does not require Paramestyam, means like the Indra, like the position of Indra, na Sarvabhaumam, na Rasatipatyam. If not sovereignty of the whole universe, na yoga siddhim apunarbhava, neither siddhi apunarbhavam. Apunarbhavam means a moksha. You do not take birth again. Neither siddhis, anima mahima lagima. Mayarpitatam tomechati madhavi. This is from Bhagavatam. That we have only, just like a charter bird wants to drink the water from this Swati Nakshatra. A particular nakshatra time, when that water falls, rain falls, then only drinks the water. Otherwise, all the time he puts his head towards this sky and just waits for that Swati Nakshatra water. That is Chatar. And same thing that if we just look towards Krishna for everything, not depending on us, our qualities, then naturally that is the real surrender or real loving to the, because he loves the cloud at the time of Swati Nakshatra. So he looks at that. So we can also look Krishna. So let me discuss about some of these verses about how to control the mind. That is what has been given, that fixing the mind on the heart and the life here. How we can do that, how, like Krishna said when we discuss about this, there are certain verses that I would like to from Bhagavad-Gita. The best thing is like giving the higher test to the mind rather than taking the lower test. But you give the higher test to the mind, then naturally it will not attach to the lower things. Like there is this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Sri Bhagavan Vache, one who is unattached to the fruits of the work, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditions. Maneva Manushanam. Bandhur, he is your Atmaiva hi Atmano Bandhur, Atmaiva Ripur, and he is your enemy also. Manaiva hi Manushanam, Karanam Bandha Moksha. Mind is the cause of your binding and also liberation. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of the friends. But for who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. The mind would become your enemy if it is not controlled. But controlling by this yoga practice is very difficult, but by detachment and serving Krishna or putting the mind on Krishna, automatically Krishna would make his business that he remains attached to me. So the process is surrendering, engaging in devotional service to Krishna, and automatically, so whatever qualification you have or disqualification does not matter. One should love Krishna, develop your relationship with Krishna, serve Krishna, and then all the qualities, good qualities, would automatically come. Qualities of the demigods would come by this way. That's why Krishna said, Man mana bhava mat bhakto. You put your mind on me. If you put, become his devotees, paying obeisance. This is the secret. That if you put on Krishna, then Krishna would make his business. Like in this 12:8, Mayeva mana adhansva. Just to fix your mind upon me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and engage your all intelligence in me. Thus you will live in me always without a doubt. So one can live in Krishna means living with Krishna. So it is all possible. So that is the process that one can fix his mind. Rather than forcibly bring the mind to the heart, it is not possible by the yoga practice, but it is very easily possible by devotional service. So So Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1 to 4 that also says येन तेन प्रकारेण मन कृष्ण निवेशये सर्वे विधि निषेधाश्यो एतएव किंकर. One should fix his mind on Krishna by any means. All the rules and prohibition, yam and niyam. Rule says that we always think of Krishna, and niyam are prohibition. Niyam means a prohibition is that we do not engage in anything other than Krishna. Do not put your mind in anything other than Krishna. You put your mind on Krishna. Means putting mind means the things of Krishna. Think of Krishna. Remember Krishna. Think of his service. Think of his engaging in his devotional service. So that is putting on your mind. So vidhi and nishay means you think of Krishna and do not forget Krishna. No forget, that is the niyam. So we talked about yam, niyam, asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dhyan, dharana, and samadhi, and that is how one can focus much easily than the practice that is being described in this verse, that you remove all your senses, but engage them in like your leg. That is what Aparish Maharaj did. But engage those senses in the for Krishna rather than just controlling them or putting them. So that is the proper situation. That is properly situating your senses rather than gratifying them independently, individually. Like the leg is pulling on this side like some child, and then father is dying, then this is my leg, this is my arm, and they are all pulling in different directions. So rather than, then one person would be in great trouble. He needs some peace, but all these senses are dragging in different directions. But rather than putting them controlled on Krishna, focusing or using for Krishna, then that is the much easy method than controlling in this way. It is, particularly in this age, it is not possible. So any question or comments?
You were talking about three rasas, three different kind of yogas. Karma yoga,
Jnana yoga.
ras.
Right.
Jnana yoga is
Yes, Jnana yoga is like there is a that is you have continuous, you develop something. Let me just see that akhanda ras. Akhanda means unbreakable ras, and ananta ras. Ananta means unending mellows. One can, that is for the devotee.
bhakti.
Yeah, that is atmiyasam.
So unending means akhanda
Yeah, akhanda.
because of knowledge.
Right, that is because of the knowledge. But that's not really ananta means see akhanda, that is unbreakable, which is like, but ananta ras, that is unending ras that you tell. Once Krishna says that I am yours, you are mine, and he really embraces you, then it's not really. But Jnana yogi, sometimes they fall down also. Once they yoga and they want to merge with the this one of the forms, Sayuji Mukti, but then they fall down. So that is not the process, but the process is Bhakti Yoga. So ultimately Krishna wants to say, so these 6 chapters from 7 to 12, they all talk about the Bhakti Yoga. The last 6 chapters are about Jnana Yoga, initially 6 are, so these are protected and by Krishna, and he describes them nicely in this middle 6. So we are on the 8th chapter about this how to obtain the Krishna. So Dhyana Yoga, that is 6 chapter, attaining the Supreme, that is the knowledge of the Absolute or the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and how to knowledge of the Supreme, and that is the 7th chapter, and how to attain the Supreme, how to attain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, any other questions? Yes.
The soul is situated in the heart, right? So the soul is situated within the life that is within the heart, and it says in the Bhagavad-Gita that the blood, that's how you pronounce it, the little blood molecules that carry oxygen that directly getting energy off the soul. So can you explain how that's happening? Do you understand?
See what he is asking, that soul is situated in the heart. So when the heart is pumping the blood, all the blood comes from the lungs after purification, like heart pumps it to the lungs, and then again through that is the right side to the lungs and left side comes to the whole body. So it gets its energy, that corpuscles, red blood corpuscles, white blood corpuscles, platelets, etc. Those are there, they get energy from the soul. So that is true, but soul means it's a consciousness, and consciousness is pervaded all over the body. It's automatically, that is the presence of the soul gives consciousness. If there is no soul, there is no consciousness. So energy and that part is there, but who is energizing? Because the soul is there. So it gets not just the corpuscles, but whole body, because the blood cells, then they flow throughout all the cells. Every cell, every atom of the body, whatever is there, they get energy from the soul. The soul is not, you may say some part dies off, what happened? It is still, but because that part then it is already detached itself. Like we have detached ourselves from Krishna by not serving him properly. Because all the senses are serving our own whimsies, not serving Krishna. So they are not properly situated. So yam, niyam, pranayam are all this is to situate, and let's say that you withdraw your all the senses. It's all the 10 senses. And so use it there because they are not situated in proper object or proper place or proper service. So they has to be used. So there is place for everything. Like I could use this to throw and hit somebody, but the proper use is to speak at loud speaker. That is the proper use. Like she has the camera, so she uses to take the picture. But if you use it for something else, that is not the proper use. So our senses are meant to serve Krishna, particularly in human form of the body. That is why the human form is been given to us to use it properly. But you are right that it gets its energy through the soul, but whole body and all the cells are getting energy because of the presence of the soul.
Hare Krishna, Swami Rsi Prabhu. Thank you for giving such a wonderful presentation of different rasas also. And also we see that most of the people are busy in Karma Yoga. So how are we to relish, enjoy, teaching them all the different rasas which you have mentioned in relationship to Krishna? And for example, even our founder Prabhupada, Maharaj, he has also mentioned that if we preach to them, then the whole world will be Vaikuntha and there will be no anxieties. And in fact, he also claimed that if there are 11 pure devotees in ISKCON, the whole world will be Vaikuntha. And all the instructions are also there in his books, in his instructions.
Prabhu, most of the people are not karma yogis. They are all karmis. Karmis means fruitive workers. They work, not karma yogis.
Karma.
They just want to act, to enjoy, to gratify their senses, to get the result. So they are not karma yogis at all. Neither they understand what karma yoga. Karma yoga means you act only for Krishna. But they act, only the difference in karma yoga and bhakti yoga, as I told, that karma yogis, they are attached to the particular work that they want to do for Krishna. And bhakti yogi will be happy to do whatever is needed. Like gopis would do anything, like headache, and they would not worry about giving their dust from the feet, whether they go to hell or doesn't matter. Even the Narad Muni and the queens of Dwarka, they would not dare to give the dust for cure of the Krishna. But the pure devotee would do anything, whatever is needed to serve Krishna and please Krishna. So these people, they could be taught gradually like different verses from Bhagavad-Gita, what Krishna wants, how people are suffering in the material world. And if you give that knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita, many devotees they become by reading Bhagavad-Gita as it is, and by reading even a small book.
Our marathon is also coming. Book marathon is also coming.
Yeah, right, book marathon. So you distribute more books, and you could, that would be, because that is a Mradanga, distributing book, means it could be heard any place you could go. The preaching and lecture, that is a slow process, that is also needed. But book distribution, whenever they have time, they touch the book, they see the nice pictures, they read some, not only them, but their children, grandchildren. So where the place you keep it, Almira, that place becomes sanctified. So it's nice to distribute books.
We can invite them also for this program.
Sure, definitely. So that is one way to invite them, have some program, have some like videos or nice pictures, some lectures should also be there, some kirtan should be there, prasadam should be there. These are all very purifying, very, very potent processes. to spread Krishna consciousness. Yes.
Hare Krishna. These 4 yugas, they have different processes. So I was thinking, but at least for some people, it is possible to also achieve success through like temple worship, through meditation, sacrifices, austerities. Some people have a tendency towards austerities. In India, I have seen. So that is austerity and meditation, Satyuga. Treta Yuga, sacrifices, Dwapar Yuga, temple worship, which we are doing right now in ISKCON. It's very, so we can achieve success. For some it is possible.
Prabhu, this is for, in general, that is for most of the people, but also that is very easy anytime, like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by his own example, that you could chant anywhere, even in the toilet, and then this Gopal Guru, he said that, oh, you know that story, what I mean to say. So what I am just saying that this is an easy process for Kali Yuga because we are so much degraded. And other processes, what we are talking, what we do, temple worship, is not the same what is recommended in the scriptures. And so there is such an elaborate, the yajna means tons and tons of pure ghee, cow ghee, and Brahmanas who knows the mantra so purely, not even a word. Now we cannot even speak proper Sanskrit way, but they are so knowledgeable. So that kind of is not really, it's very, very difficult to obtain all those ingredients and meditate is not easy. They have meditated even what was this 60,000 years that he was practicing Vishwamitra and he fell down. So that is very difficult in that age, that was the age of Satyuga. So what to say for the people like us? Those, what you are saying they are doing, that is just a token. We are doing temple worship, yes, we are doing some fire singing, but that is done to please Lord Krishna directly. But it is not the same what it was done in the previous ages. That how Yudhishthira Maharaj would send the horse and send to any place all over the world and collect all the ingredients, means golden pots and all that. You saw that story that some king had thrown the golden pots after eating once. We just throw the paper plate and the leaf plate, but they used to throw the golden pots after doing these sacrifices. That is not possible for these ages. And then you control all the kings from all over, and they used to perform Rasi Prabhu. Is it possible anything is done in Kali Yuga? So those things are not possible in this age. Like Lord Ramchandra sent his horse with Lakshman, and they are going behind the horse and winning everybody all around the kingdom and bringing all ingredients. Means even the Yudhishthira Maharaj did not have enough ingredients to perform. He had to send his brothers and conquer every place and then bring so much wealth from there and collect and do and perform. So what we are doing is not the same what is been described in the scripture for that particular age.
How you change.
Okay? Thank you, sir. Hare Krishna. Bhagavad-Gita. Jai Shri Prabhu.
राधे राधे